Hi there, students. To remit, and the nouns remit and remittance. So notice the verb to remit, and then one noun, remittance, easy, and remit, different pronunciation. Okay, I'm going to look at the verb to remit to start with, because this verb is used in a variety of different ways with different meanings. So the first thing I think about is to send money. It doesn't have to be money. It could be help or moral support, but most commonly it's money. Yeah, payment for something. Immigrants often remit money to their families at home. Thank you for your remittance of this month's rent. So the noun of this meaning of remit is to send money, and it's remittance. Okay? He remitted money to several different charities to help their charitable works. Okay, we can also use to remit, meaning to pardon an offence, to forgive and to pardon. The idea of forgive and forget. So the final part of his jail sentence was remitted, was forgiven. He was let out of free. It was remitted for good behaviour. Okay, you can also use this for remittance from an obligation. They remitted some of the requirements for entry to the course. The remittance of sins, the forgiveness of sins. Okay, and again the noun remittance. Okay, to remit can mean to lessen, to decrease, to diminish. We are all hoping that this virus will remit over the summer. His anger remitted when I gave him the money I owed him. The depression that he suffered from slowly remitted. He had really good news. The cancer was in remittance. It was lessening and going away. Okay? So to remit, to decrease. You can also use to remit, meaning to refer to somebody else for their judgment, for their opinion, for them to think about it, for their deliberation. I'm going to remit your application form to my boss because it's complicated. The judge remitted the case to a lower court. He sent it on. So to remit, to send something on to something else. This essay you've written is really, really good, and I'm going to remit it to the headmaster because I think he should see how well you're doing. Okay, finally we get to this noun remit. Remit. This is scope, area of responsibility. This is not within the remit of my job. It's not within the scope of my remit. The remit is your what you're responsible for, what you're supposed to do, what your purpose, your aim is. What is the remit of this new job? What responsibilities do I have? What activities must I carry out? They say that this use of remit is chiefly British as well, the area of responsibility. It is the remit of an English teacher to help a student communicate more effectively, more correctly, and more accurately in English. What is the remit of your job? It is beyond the remit of this committee to consider this matter. So, let's just go over this again. To remit, to send money, to send payment. Thank you for your remittance of this month. To forgive and to pardon, forgive and forget. Your sins will be remitted. To lessen, to decrease, to diminish. The virus remitted, the disease remitted. It was in remittance. I'm going to remit this to another group of workers who understand this better, to refer something to somebody else. And then finally, remit, scope, area of responsibility. Notice this word remit or remit is really quite formal. I think I'd probably give it a 7, maybe even a 7.5 in formality. So, in an informal conversation, don't use it. Send payment, forgive, decrease, to refer to someone else, scope or area of responsibility. I think those are the phrases I would use in an informal conversation. This you should keep for something semi-formal or a very formal writing. It's a good formal business word to use. Notice as well, to remit is a regular verb. He remitted the money. The disease has remitted. And what about the origin? It comes from Latin, re, back or again, and mittere, to send. Send back, send again. Yeah, quite easy. So, to remit and remit as the noun, or remittance. Send money, forgive, decrease, refer to someone else, and scope, area of responsibility as a noun. So I think that's the end of my remit for this word. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. To remit, remit, remit.